Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. We are going to be having data flow items. So already we had seen control flow tasks. Data flow is a task. Data flow will not have any other things. Okay. Okay. So we are going to be discussing about data flow items. Data flow is a task. Data flow is a task. It has a sources, destinations, and transformations. What are the sources we have? We have ADO.NET source and destination, Excel source and destination, flat file source or CSV destination and source, OLEDB source destination, raw file source destination, XML. Then we have CDC, change data capture source. This is added in SQL Server 2012, right? Then you have lot many destinations, ADO, data mining, data reader, dimension, blah, blah, blah. So don't worry about all these things. We are not going to be using all these things. Let me open my development environment. Okay. Let me click on this. And I wanted to use the recent project SSIS demos. But if you don't have your project now, what you need to do? You need to go to File, Open, Project and Solution. If you wanted to open existing package or the project means, either you can see it here. If you don't have anything here, you can also go to File, Open, Project Solution. But you should know where is the project located, where is that you have saved. I know that I have saved in SSIS D drive, SSIS practice, and this is the project. Double click on this. You need to click on the solution file and open it. Clear? If you wanted to open an existing project, so you can open in many ways, right? So you will be able to have lot of packages. We have done with 7. Now today, let us focus on data flow task. Control flow, we had seen couple of items. Again, we'll come back and do the complex activities here. Now data flow, let us concentrate on today. Data flow where you will be able to see, sources, okay, destinations and transformations, right? So data flow itself is a task. Data flow itself is a task. It will have sources, it will have destinations, it will have a transformation, which is going to be performing ETL operations. Clear? So that is what. So we could see lot of destinations and lot of transformations. What are the sources? All these sources. So today, let us talk about ADO.NET and in OLEDB and all these things. We spoken about drivers, right? We've spoken about drivers. If you wanted to read SQL data, so data is available either in SQL or data is available in non-SQL. Non-SQL means files. To read the data, normally we are going to be using ODBC driver. On top of that, we are going to be using OLEDB driver, right? OLEDB driver can read the data from non-SQL. It also can get the data from the SQL databases. On top of that, you have ADO and ADO.NET, right? So ADO.NET and ODBC, OLEDB, all of them can get the data, but ODBC can get the data from SQL. SQL means any RDBMS. It could be SQL Server, Oracle, MS Access, MySQL, any RDBMS, you should be able to read the data. Non-SQL means any files, right? Data of the entire globe is available in only 2 places. Okay, you have 2 types of food habits. Either you're a vegetarian or you're a non-vegetarian, right? Like that, you're storing the data in SQL or data can be stored in non-SQL. Non-SQL means anything else, files, any other systems, Excel file, flat file. If you wanted to read the data from this SQL, we are going to be using a driver called ODBC. OLEDB can get the data from SQL OLEDB also get the data from non-SQL. ADO.NET on top of OLEDB, it is going to be connecting and getting the data. This is a Microsoft driver. So you need to understand simple things, right? So you can get the data from OLEDB source, means any RDBMS you can connect, right? Even file also can be connected. ADO.NET also can be connected to anything. Now, after that, we have Excel source, means to read the data from the Excel, right? So now flat file means to read the data from any CSV files or notepads or all these things like that. Okay. So that is what is the point. And now the question is, what is the flat file versus a raw file? Compulsory interview question in SSIS. What is a flat file and what is a raw file? So this is available not only here, but also in this. Okay. You have a flat file. You have a raw file also. Okay, na? So when you go here, there is a raw file destination and there is a flat file destination. So source, you have flat file source, raw file source, flat file destination, and again raw file destination. ADO.NET, as I told you, it can connect to anything, ODBC, OLEDB. That means it can read the data from SQL and non-SQL. So data mining, we should not use this. This is also, we will not use it. Dimension processing also, it is not for us, it is for the cube, right? Partition processing also, we never use them. So Excel, you know how to connect to Excel. Records at destination, we are not going to be using. So data reader, record set, this is for the .NET. People who know .NET, they will be able to use that. But we are not from .NET background, we are coming from SQL background, right? So SQL Server compact destination means in your mobile phones, a small database will be there in your phone devices. Clear? So your cell phone or mobile phone, right? Mobile phone devices, you will have small databases. These are also called as SQL Server compact databases to store your contact details, your phone numbers. So the mobile phone can be used with SQL Server compact destinations. We can connect to mobile phones and get the data, dump the data, and SQL Server destination to get the data of the SQL Server. So maximum times you may use Excel file, flat file, or a raw file, or SQL Server, Oracle as a sources and destinations. We need to concentrate on them. But today, let us focus on what is a flat file and what is a raw file, when to use what. When to use what, that is very, very important. Flat file means notepad. It has a structure. So, when I open a notepad, this is what is called a flat file. Okay. So flat file means a notepads only. Okay. So these are also called as a text files. These are also called as notepads. These are also called as CSV files. So all these are same thing. Remember, flat files, text files, notepads, and CSV files. Okay. One more thing I would like to tell you, many people are getting buffering issues. Okay. Many people are getting buffering issues. You call Avinash, right? You need to call Avinash 991991946 or you can chat with him in the Telegram group. You're part of the Telegram group, right? So other people who got the solution, they will be able to help you. Or you can completely talk to Avinash today after 11 o'clock. And the buffering issues, please, get it answered. So there is a setting, I think you need to do it. So if you change the setting, you will be able to get the proper this one, even though you have slow network. Clear? So talk to him today and he will be able to help you, and you should not get any kind of an issues with the buffering. Clear, guys? So flat files, text files, notepads, and CSV files, all these are synonyms. Now to read the data from this, for example, I have some employee data, employee ID, employee name, employee salary, So I have some date. Employee number 1, John, salary is 1,000. Employee number 2, Sita, salary is 2,000. Employee number 3, say Raghu, salary is let us say 1,200. Something like this. I have some data. It is coming from CSV file, comma separated value. Clear? So you can save this file. How to save the file? Save this file. You can say EMP file. Okay. So you can have EMP file. EMP file, you can have EMPP. I'm putting some EMPP and it is a text file. So let me save this file. Let me close this file and I wanted to show you this file. Where is this file located? Downloads folder EMPP. This is your file. It is a structured data. You can read the data clearly. You can read the data clearly. That is the point. Has a structure. But raw file does not have any structure. You will not be able to read the data properly. So I will show you raw file later. I don't have it now, but I'll show you later. Then it can be used for the original data source. It is used for the staging. Staging means a temporary purpose. Raw files are going to be used for the temporary purpose. But why flat file we cannot use? Because it is going to be having less performance. It is going to be having less performance. Raw files will have high performance, requires a connection. Driver is required. So we need to have OLEDB driver or some other driver has to be there to get this, and extension is .txt. No connection required, no driver is required. Extension is .raw. Clear? So this is what is called a flat file. Flat file we can have like this, or let me open Notepad. Let me create employee ID, employee name, employee salary. I have Aman, salary is 1,000. So 20. So Jagu, salary is 2,000. Let me say Priya, salary is let us say some 2,400. Something like this. I have some data. Now this data I wanted to save not as a text file. I can give, let us say EMPP. Let me EMPP dot CSV. Okay. CSV means what? Comma separated values. So you can give a dot text, or if you don't mention anything, it will be a text file. I can mention CSV. I will be able to save this. So it is a text file only. But let me show you this file in the downloads folder. You think it is not a text file or a flat file. You think that it is a Microsoft Office, comma separated value. When you double click on this, it will open in the Excel, but it is not an Excel file. Remember this point. So many people think that it is the data coming from Excel sheet, but it is not an Excel file. It is a CSV. CSV means comma separated file, nothing but a flat file only. Clear? So if you wanted to tomorrow modify it, right click on this, you can say open with Notepad, right? You have to modify like this only 40. Now I can say Jana. So I'm putting some Jana and save this package, save this file. Now this is a completely flat file or the text file you can open, but when you give CSV file, it will give you like this: Microsoft Office Excel comma separated values, means it is a flat file, Excel file card. Clear? It is not Excel file. You have to right click and open. When you open, it is going to be using Excel software to open, but it is not an Excel software. Don't modify. You can modify it, but don't modify, don't add any data. You will be able to, sometimes you will be able to get this kind of a files, but you have to deal with what? A notepads only. This data you can read. Clear? But where exactly we are using a raw file, let me tell you. So let me take a paint and I will explain in detailed manner. Very, very important interview question. Tomorrow, I am getting the data from one third party system. Okay. So tomorrow I'm going to be getting the data from the third party system. So what is my source? My source is, let us say, SAP, or you can have a mainframe. Mainframe is IBM software. SAP from SAP company. I'm getting a lot of data. Let us understand it is going to store a lot of banking data in the SAP or a mainframe. So I wanted to give the data to me, but this SAP or mainframe will be maintained by one more software team, right? So SAP team is going to be maintaining SAP in the company, and the mainframe team is going to be maintaining mainframe. So you think that some banking data is there, so they will give you the data. How they are going to be giving? They're performing ETL operations. Okay, they're performing some ETL operation. All the data from the table. What tables they have? They have a lot of tables in the SAP, because data most of the time business data means it may be in SAP or mainframe. Data will be in tables only. So this is a customer table in SAP. So this may be a product table in SAP. This is a table data. So, or mainframe data. This is a sales table in SAP. All the data they're using some third party ETL, or they may be using SSIS, or we don't know. So this is the source. From this source, we're able to get the data, and where they're dumping all the data into a D drive. Let us say this data belong to Amazon company. Amazon having one of the computers called SAP computer. All the data they're dumping into where? They're dumping into D drive, and they're able to get some files, right? So what is this file? This file is called customer file. Okay. All the data they're dumping into customer.txt. All the data they're dumping into product.txt, right? Like that. They may have one more file. That file is called sales.txt. Like that, the company is going to be dumping the data from where? From SAP to text file. From here, I am taking and loading the data, the final data, into a data warehousing. Clear? It is what is called data warehousing data. I need to again perform ETL operations. I may use SSIS and anyway. Now the first question, when you take a customer data, product data, sales data, and whatever be the reason, you are going to be dumping into a TXT table. Now, TXT files are, so TXT files are very, very slow. Why slow? Because they parse the data. Parsing will be done. Parsing means, what is the parsing? Parsing means validation. Okay. Slow parse and validation, and it may also convert the data. Okay. So flat files are going to be parsing the data, validating the data. So because of the validation, what will happen? It will become slow, right? Because of validation, you will become slow, right? You go to the airport. What will they do? They check your baggage. They check your everything. Validation, checking every gate number 1 checking, gate number 2 checking. What is the problem in airport? You need to go 3 hours before, 2 hours before you need to go to the airport. Why? Checking, everywhere checking. But railway station in India, you can go just 5 minutes before. Why? Because not much validation, not much checking, right? So if somebody is validating you again and again, what is the biggest issue? You will become slow. You will become slow. You go to airport, you have to go to the airport 2 hours before, 3 hours before. Why? Much more checking, much more scrutiny, right? So validation is more, parsing is more. So big problem with the text files are more parsing. Parsing and checking, validations. Clear? What is it is going to be validating? Let me show you one data. I wanted to get some data from the MS Word document. Let me say I'm writing some blah, blah, blah. Okay. I wanted to take this data. Now what I'm trying to do, I am trying to keep this bullets. Okay. So this is the bulleted data. I would like to take this data, copy this data, open notepad. When I open notepad, what is happening? You take it, you see it. So it is able to give you because of it is having also compatible. Otherwise, if it is not compatible, what it does, this will change. So how come it knows that it is not able to understand this? Now it is able to understand the latest notepads, it is able to understand. But if it is not able to understand some vague thing, it will convert this. It will convert this. It is going to be storing in the different manner. So to know whether it is compatible or not, whether to know it is compatible or not, it is going to be validating. It is means who? This flat file system, flat file is a software, right? This is going to be validating. Is it compatible to me? Is it compatible to me? Is it compatible to me? Each and every letter is going to be validating. Who's going to be validating? Flat file. Whenever you load the data, simply loading means copy and pasting. Whenever you load the data, the system is going to be validating. Now you tell me, you take a good food, what will happen? Good digestion. But if you take bad food, vomitings, or you will get hospitalized. Why? Who's going to be verifying? Is it you are verifying? You are not verifying. You are only taking the food. Immediately, body is checking whether it is probably good food or bad food. If it is a good food, digestion will start. If it is a bad food, you will get vomits. If you take a poison, what will happen? It is a bad food. Immediately, you will get a lot of vomitings or you will die. So why? Because your system is validating. So your body is validating automatically. We are not telling, hey body, I have taken the curd rice, now you validate. Hey body, I have taken the pineapple, you validate it. So are we saying? No, we are not saying. It is automatically happening in your body. However, it is happening automatically. So your body is parsing. Your body is parsing. What it is parsing? It is parsing your food. Clear? Whether it is good or bad. Like that, every food you consume, you take curd rice, you take a chocolate, you take anything, everything will be tested in your body. Your body is a system, right? So your body will understand whether it's good food or bad food. Good means digestion, bad means vomiting, reverse. Clear? Like that, TXT files are there. TXT will be used to take your data, but each and every letter will be verified whether it is everything is properly there or not. If it is not properly there, it is going to be converting. So if you convert something, what will happen? You lose the data, right? For example, I'm not able to understand something, I'm converting. If you convert something, what will happen? You lose the originality, the original data, you lose it. One issue with the flat file is slow. Why? Each and everything will get verified, parsed. That is one thing. Second one is you may lose the data because of convert. If it is not able to understand something, it will convert. Clear? When you have a large amount of data coming, because of the parsing and validation, flat files are slow. What Microsoft says, you never store the data into the flat file. Okay. Now it is saying you never store this data into flat file. So what is that we should do? You load the data into the raw file, RAW destination. What destination we're talking about? RAW. What is the advantage? The advantage is they don't parse. That is the advantage. What is that? They don't, no parsing, no validation. Remember that. So raw files will not parse. You go to railway station, nobody is going to be checking. Hardly one or two places you will get checking for only one or two passengers. Now, no parsing, no checking. What is the advantage? You are very, very fast, can get into train immediately or bus. If you go to bus station, no parsing, no checking. Simply go and get the bus and go into that. Clear? So no validation, no parsing means what is advantage? You can get the large amount of data very, very quickly. It is very, very faster. It is very, very fast. Clear. And no conversion because it is not reading. No convert, nothing. I am not checking. If I check, I will tell you something. I am not checking. Why you want me to, check it? I am not checking. So raw files are files is not going to check your data, whether it is a good data, bad data, and no validation. I think this is faster. And here only one bad thing is that no structure. No structure. You cannot read the data. Why should I read the data? I can read the data either in the source level, or I can read the data in the data warehouse level. Why should I read the data? No structure. So that very faster. And you cannot read the data. You cannot read the data. You cannot read the data, but I'm not going to be reading the data here. These are the disadvantages, but these are very faster. Raw files are faster because no parsing, no validation. Am I clear? So after that, what I do, and no drivers also required. Yes, no drivers also required. So automatically it is going to be understood by the your hardware. Now you tell me, you take a banana, your body cannot understand. Why? Because banana, it cannot directly put into your blood. Banana will get digested. You will get what is called as a carbohydrates, amino acids, and vitamins, lot of other things, cholesterol, lot of things which body can understand. It will absorbs only that. Remaining things it will not understand. Now you take a pizza, it is a pizza, but body will not understand it is a pizza. Again, it will take glucose, fructose, amino acids, and cholesterol, this one fatty, lot of things it will be getting from the pizza. Then that is also everything is depends upon a digestion system. Clear? Because so your body cannot understand. But if you're ill, if you're not well, you go to the hospital. So you need energy. Will they give you pizza, or will they give you fluids? What is that the hospital staff will give you? They'll give you fluids, right? So when you, as soon as you go to the hospital, they say that this guy is not having enough energy. Let us start with the fluids first. Clear? Fluids means there is no digestion system is included. Directly it will go into the blood. You will get energy. There is no digestion. Clear? So system understands fluids. The system means your body. Like that, raw files, no need of a driver. Why no need of a driver? Because it can, the hardware, RAM, and everybody can understand, processor, everybody can understand this data, because it is not human understandable data. It is a machine understandable format. Raw files. Raw files are what? Machine understandable format. So as a human being, you cannot read the data. Clear? So especially raw files are machine understandable files. Flat files are human readable, human understandable files. Clear? Raw files will, will parse the data, will validate the data. Raw files will not do that. Clear? Raw files, because no digestion, nothing is there. Will you be checking? No, directly it will go into the blood, right? Fluids and everything. So no checking, nothing. Directly it will go and it will get injected into the blood. Clear? So raw files are always, faster. Raw files are machine understandable format. Raw files. Clear? But flat files or notepads or CSV files or text files are human understandable data storage sources. Am I clear? Or destinations. So remember, if you're migrating data from one place to another place, so in between, so you cannot directly take the data from here directly, you cannot dump it. 100% of the time, the people will not allow like that, right? So they will give you data into the staging somewhere. Staging means this is a staging here. So you could keep the data from here. You're going to be transforming a lot of things and cleaning the data. So nobody is going to be taking the raw data and going to be putting as it is. They are going to be checking first. Clear? So they're going to be checking first. That is what you got to understand. Clear? Why raw files are needed means to make the complete package faster. Clear? So that is what is the beauty of the story or moral of the story. Clear? So raw files are needed to make everything faster, whenever you're migrating the data from one place to another, so in between, if you wanted to have some staging means, instead of dumping the data into the Excel file and Excel file, flat file, raw file, which one is the better means raw file? If raw file is not available, then do go with the flat file. Excel is very, very dangerous. Don't use any Excel file as your migration in between as a temporary stage. Clear? That's what is the point. So has structure, no structure, original source data uses for staging, less performance, high performance. Why? Because parsing and no parsing. Clear? So requires a driver and requires no driver. It is machine understandable file. It is a human understandable file. Now CSV files, notepad text files, all of them are synonyms only, but CSV files shown differently in Windows platform, so don't worry about it. Now, types of flat files. There is fixed width flat file, row ragged flat file, ragged right flat file. Fixed width means, delimited means this is the delimitation. So I will have a comma. So there is a comma called delimiter, right? You can have a full stop or a comma or a space or a tab space. You can create anything with the delimiter. So this is what is called delimited flat file. Flat file means again this one. So when you put comma, it is called as a comma delimiter. That is a CSV file. Clear? You can also put the space, tab space, anything you can have. Sometimes we will create values like this. So employee ID, single space, name, single space, salary, 1, single space, RAM, single space, 1000. This is one thing. 2, single space, Sita, single space, 2000. So this is a space delimited flat file, single space. Or we can have employee ID, tab space. This is tab space. Name, tab space, salary, like that. Okay. Employee ID, tab space, name, tab space, salary. So employee ID 1, tab space, RAM, tab space, salary. Like that, you will be able to get tab spaces in between. Okay. So all these are called as, delimiters. So you can have anything, whatever you would like to have, tab space, single space, comma, this one, that one, all these are called delimited flat file. Now, the next one is called a fixed width flat file. I have a data coming like this. Okay, employee ID, name, salary. Nobody knows what is the first column, what is the second column. I will say 1, Ram, and let us say Ramudu, let us say 1000. Let us say Sita, 2000. Let me say Ravan, 2300. I have some data. Now I have to know what is the first column, what is the second column, and what is the third column. How do I know? You don't know, right? So in this case, you have to tell what is the length. I can tell you the length of the first column is 3 characters. Length of the next column is 10 characters. Afterwards, I can tell you the length of the third column will be 5 characters. Now it is going to be reading 1, 2, 3. This will be your number, employee ID. 2, SI is the number. Is it correct data? Completely wrong data. Why? When you have a fixed data, you should not give the data like this. You need to mention 001. So the next you can say Ram or Ram, do something like this, and you can say 1000. But it is going to be giving you 001. That is the employee ID 3 characters. Then next 10 characters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then later 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces. Then you put 0. The salary is this much. Okay. So like that, you're going to be storing the data. When SSIS is reading, it will read first 3 characters as a number, the next 10 characters as a name, the next 5 characters as a salary. Clear? So in this, there is a problem. What is the problem? The row is also fixed. Each and every column is also fixed. What is the row size? So this is row size will be 83 characters in the employee ID plus 10 characters in the name and the 5 characters. The complete row size will be 18 characters. Now tell me, it is a fixed length. So can I write more than 10 characters here? You cannot. Why? Because the 10 is the maximum limit, right? So column is also fixed and row is also fixed. But in the CSV, employee ID, comma name, comma salary, I can say 101. I can say very big name here. Very big name I can put comma 1000. Now tell me, CSV file where you can have infinite length. There is no problem. You should not be worried about the length, but fixed length where column has the length and row has the length, both of them are fixed. It has the width to define columns and rows. Clear? So you cannot have more than the specified size. 10 characters means a name, only 10 characters, not more than that. Am I clear? So that is what is called fixed width flat file. So you have to tell SSIS that employee ID size is this much, employee name size is this much, employee salary size is this much. You need to clearly tell the SSIS so that SSIS can read the data neatly and clearly. If you don't give the length size, so the size of the length of the given column, SSIS cannot do anything properly. Remember that point. The next one is called row ragged flat file. The last line of the flat file will end with the new line ragged right. Sometimes what happens, you will have a flat file. You will have employee ID, employee name, salary. I have some data. 1 Sita 2000, 2 John 3000. I am pressing a down arrow. It is coming down. Have you seen? I am pressing a down arrow. The cursor is coming down. Clear? So when the cursor is coming down, it means that it is having a blank row there. It is having a blank row. So that is what is called the last line of the flat file will end with the new line. So when the cursor is blinking here, this is what is called a blank line. But let me open a notepad. One more notepad. Now I copy paste the same thing here. But now I am trying to press on the down arrow. The cursor is not coming down. But when the cursor comes down, when you press enter, the new line will be created at the end. Now it is going to be having no data, but there is a line here. So what SSIS can understand, it is a line, but there is no data. Where is the line? The line is at the third row. So 1 Sita, 2 John, the third line will be blank line. That is what is called last line of the flat file will end up with a new line. Where when you press enter, SSIS think that there is a data, but actually there is no data. It will give you nulls over there. So you have to be more curious about this kind of a data. Now, ragged right file, space is added after the end of the row. Sometimes what happens, you have data like this. This is a row ragged. So there is a line is. Let me go and press delete button. When I press delete button, the line is gone. But sometimes what will happen, you will have spaces here. You will have spaces here. When you see the data, SSIS can understand it is this much of a data. SSIS can understand this much of a data. But if you remove the spaces, if you put like this, so when you select it, it can go like this, but it is selecting this much. Why? Because these are spaces. Clear? If there is space at the end of the row, that kind of a file is called as a space is added after the end of the row or each row or some of the rows. Ragged right flat file. You need to trim the last line because it is showing a lot of data with the spaces. Am I clear? So row ragged flat file, ragged right flat file means sometimes end of the row will have a spaces that you have to trim. Sometimes you need to have a blank line in the end of the file. You need to remove that line while loading the data into the destinations wise. The blank line will be getting a lot of nulls. Now we know employee. So there is one thing you need to understand: employee source and destination. Workbook name, that is a file name. And sometimes we will also have a sheet name, right? So let me go to one Excel file. I'm going to be having a sheet name is called employee, and I save the file. When I save the file, I'm going to be saving the file. When I'm saving, I'm also giving employee. See, now if you give what is the file name, what is the sheet name, how do you know? Because you're saving as an employee, that is fine. And I'm giving employee, that is fine. But I'm also giving employee. Which one is a sheet, which one is a file name means dollar indicates the sheet name. Clear? Dollar button, if you have, that is a sheet name. That is what is the thing. So 32 issues we'll discuss later. So this is Excel. Then one more thing people may ask you in the interview. Okay, that is everything is good. I have to read the data from SQL Server. What will you use? OLEDB source. To read the data from Oracle, what will you do? Will you use OLEDB source? To get the data from MySQL, OLEDB. But when you go to the destination to load the data into the SQL Server, we have OLEDB also. We have SQL Server also. People may ask you, if you have OLEDB, why again SQL Server? Because SQL Server source is there, is not there, but SQL Server destination is there. What is the reason? The reason is like this. If you're getting the data from somewhere, some data you're getting, some SAP system and everything, all the data you're trying to dump into a destination. Destination may be a data warehouse. Clear? So in this, you create a database. The database you're storing the data. And in this only, you're also, in this machine only, you're having your SSIS packages. In this is data warehousing database. So SSIS and a destination is available in a single computer. If that is the case, we can use OLEDB. In that case, you're going to be using a SQL Server. What is the case? In a single machine, you have SSIS is there, you have a database is there, and this database is of SQL Server database. Clear? You take one machine, SQL Server, you install it. You also keep all SSIS package here. The SSIS package will go and get the connect here and all get the data. It is going to be dumping it here. If you have SSIS and SQL databases in the same machine, you can use SQL Server. This is very, very faster. This is very, very faster. But if you have a data coming from somewhere, you have SSIS is in one more machine. You have a data warehousing in one more machine. If that is the case, we are going to be using OLEDB destination to load the data into the destination. If you have SSIS is separated, OLEDB data warehousing separated, not in the same machine, means we are going to be loading the data with the help of a OLEDB. OLEDB is slow. SQL Server is faster. Clear? Much more time we are going to be getting the data and loading the data means we will have SQL Server only. Why? Because SSIS somebody is using means, Power BI somebody is using means, you need to understand it is a destination will be compulsorily SQL Server database, because Microsoft Power BI SSIS means compulsorily Power BI and compulsorily SSIS and Power BI SQL Server. And most of the time we are going to be using this kind of an architecture. In single machine we'll keep SSIS, single machine will keep this one. This is your source. Okay. So source will not have any SSIS packages. Source will not have any data warehousing database. Source will have only source data. SSIS and data warehouse will be there in this other machine. That is one choice. Source is one machine. SSIS is one more computer. Data warehousing one more computer. Okay. And if that is the case, we cannot use we cannot use SQL Server. If you are having multiple computers, means go in for OLEDB destination to load the data, and which is slow. So that is the point we need to understand here. Okay, read this. It works for local and remote servers. It works for local server. Local and remote means what? Remote means you have SSIS and everything in separated. And it is slower, it is faster. It is any RDBMS tool, it is only for the SQL Server tool to use it. Okay? So that is what is the point. Clear? So OLEDB destination SQL Server destination. When to use, when not to use. SQL Server and SSIS, both of them are available in a single machine. SQL Server means I'm talking about your data warehousing. Data warehousing and everything in single machine means use SQL Server destination, right? Data warehousing is separated, SSIS is separated, and if that is the case, going for the OLEDB destination. Okay? So that is the point you got to understand. Clear? Tomorrow we'll talk about transformations. Now, basically, we have three categories of transformations. One is called blocked, second one is called partially blocked, third one is called non-blocked transformation. Tomorrow we'll talk about different transformation, compulsory interview question. So today you will be able to get one question is what is the control flow, what is a data flow, that is one thing. The second question will be what is a CSV file, what is a raw file, or what is a flat file, what is a raw file, and what is a row ragged flat file, ragged flat files. And the next one is called what is a SQL Server destination and OLEDB destination, right? The next question will be blocked versus non-blocked transformation. Tomorrow we'll discuss this concept in detail. So if you have any questions, you're welcome. And compulsorily, SSIS is very, very important. And it is very, very easy. If you know basics of SQL, at least select star from employee table and delete the data, insert the data. If you know basic commands of SQL, you can learn easily SSIS. But to crack the interview, you have to know in-depth of SQL Server. To learn SSIS, basics of SQL is needed. But to understand and to crack the interview along with SSIS, you need to have in-depth of SQL Server practice has to be there. Chalo guys, tomorrow we'll meet.